Have you ever sat down to binge watch an entire season of a show and then realized you haven't moved in like 6 hours? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, turns out sitting around all day isn't just a harmless way to pass the time. It's a surefire way to invite a horde of health problems into your life. Kind of like leaving the door open for raccoons. And trust me, raccoons might look cute, but they'll ruin your house faster than a toddler with a Sharpie. The sedentary lifestyle. Explained. A sedentary lifestyle is defined by a lot of inactivity. Think of it like a day in the life of a sloth, minus the tree climbing. We're talking minimal physical activity, lots of sitting or lying down, and very little energy expenditure. But what does this look like in real life? Well, for most of us, it means sitting at a desk for hours on end, driving everywhere instead of walking, and winding down by watching TV or playing video games. It's basically the modern way of living for a lot of people, thanks to things like office jobs, cars, and Netflix. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's good for you. When you sit for long periods, your body starts to behave in weird ways. Muscles start to atrophy, blood flow slows down, and your metabolism takes a nap. And unlike you, it doesn't have a snooze button. This inactivity affects your body's ability to regulate blood sugar and blood pressure, and can mess with your body's ability to break down fat. Here's a fun fact. Your body is essentially designed for movement. When you're active, your muscles contract and help pump blood back to your heart, keeping your circulation in tip-top shape. But when you're sitting still, that system grinds to a halt. Blood pools in your legs, and your circulation gets sluggish. Biological impact of sedentariness. The human body is built for movement. Think about our ancestors, always on the move, hunting, gathering, and running from predators. All that activity meant their bodies had to be efficient machines, constantly burning energy and keeping everything in check. Now, fast forward to today. We've traded the wild savanna for the office cubicle, and our bodies are not happy about it. When you sit for extended periods, your muscles go into a sort of hibernation mode. They're not contracting, which means they're not helping to pump blood back to your heart. This leads to poor circulation and can even cause blood to pool in your legs. It's like your body hits the pause button on all the healthy functions that keep you going, and it gets worse. Your metabolism also slows down. Normally, your body is pretty good at breaking down fats and sugars, converting them into energy. But when you're inactive, this process takes a hit. Your body's ability to handle glucose gets impaired, which can lead to insulin resistance. That's a fancy term for your body becoming less effective at managing blood sugar, setting the stage for type 2 diabetes. Now, this isn't a one-size-fits-all scenario. Men and women experience these changes differently. Men, for instance, tend to accumulate fat around their abdomen, which is particularly risky because it's associated with higher rates of cardiovascular disease. Women, on the other hand, might notice more fat accumulating around their hips and thighs, which might not seem as dangerous, but still contributes to overall health risks. And here's something fun. Hormonal differences mean that women's bodies might react more strongly to prolonged inactivity, especially when it comes to bone density and muscle mass. Estrogen plays a role in maintaining bone health. So, when women lead a sedentary life, they're at a higher risk for developing osteoporosis compared to men. It's like your body saying, hey, you've got to move to keep everything functioning properly. Cardiovascular health. All right, let's get to the heart of the matter. Literally. Your cardiovascular system, which includes your heart and blood vessels, is crucial for keeping your body running smoothly. But when you adopt a sedentary lifestyle, it's like throwing a wrench into the works of this finely tuned machine. When you sit for long periods, your heart doesn't pump as vigorously. Normally, physical activity helps to strengthen your heart, making it more efficient at circulating blood throughout your body. Without that regular exercise, your heart muscle can weaken over time. Think of it like any other muscle. Use it or lose it. One of the most immediate effects of prolonged sitting is poor circulation. When you're active, your muscles help push blood through your veins back to your heart. But when you're sitting, this process slows down, leading to blood pooling in your legs. This can cause issues like varicose veins and even deep vein thrombosis, DVT, which is essentially a blood clot that can travel to your lungs and cause serious problems. But the problems don't stop there. A sedentary lifestyle is a significant risk factor for heart disease. Studies have shown that people who sit for long periods have a higher risk of developing heart conditions, even if they exercise regularly. It's not just about hitting the gym for an hour. It's about staying active throughout the day. Sitting for extended periods can lead to higher blood pressure and elevated cholesterol levels, both of which are key contributors to heart disease. The impact of a sedentary lifestyle on cardiovascular health also varies between men and women. Men are generally more prone to develop heart disease at an earlier age compared to women, largely due to differences in risk factors like cholesterol levels and blood pressure. Women, on the other hand, are somewhat protected by estrogen before menopause, but their risk increases significantly after menopause. This hormonal shift means that postmenopausal women who lead a sedentary lifestyle are at a higher risk of cardiovascular issues compared to their active counterparts. Prolonged inactivity can lead to chronic low-grade inflammation, which is a known risk factor for cardiovascular diseases. When you're active, your body releases anti-inflammatory compounds, but when you're sedentary, this protective mechanism is less effective. This means that sitting around all day doesn't just hurt your heart directly, it can also lead to systemic inflammation that exacerbates cardiovascular problems. Metabolic consequences. The metabolism is that magical process that keeps you burning calories and staying energized. When you move around, your muscles use glucose for energy, which helps keep your blood sugar levels in check. But when you're inactive, your muscles don't use as much glucose, and your cells can become less responsive to insulin. This is what we call insulin resistance, and it's a major precursor to type 2 diabetes. It's like your body's way of saying, "Hey, you've been sitting too long? I'm not working as well as I should." When you're active, your body is constantly breaking down fats to use for energy. However, when you're sedentary, this process slows down significantly. As a result, fats can start to accumulate in your bloodstream, leading to higher levels of triglycerides and cholesterol. Over time, this can contribute to atherosclerosis, where your arteries become clogged with fatty deposits. This is a fast track to heart disease and stroke. The metabolic effects of a sedentary lifestyle aren't identical for everyone. Men tend to store more visceral fat around their abdomen, which is the type of fat most strongly associated with metabolic diseases. This makes them more susceptible to conditions like metabolic syndrome, which is a cluster of risk factors including high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist, and abnormal cholesterol levels. Women, on the other hand, might experience different metabolic challenges. They often store fat in their hips and thighs, which might seem less risky but still contributes to overall metabolic health issues. Additionally, hormonal changes, especially during menopause, can exacerbate these problems. Estrogen plays a significant role in regulating metabolism, and its decline can lead to an increase in abdominal fat and a greater risk of insulin resistance. Another interesting aspect is how physical inactivity affects appetite regulation. Normally, physical activity helps regulate hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which tell you when you're hungry and when you're full. But when you're inactive, this regulation can go haywire, leading to increased appetite and overeating. It's like your body's natural signals get crossed, making it easier to pack on the pounds without even realizing it. Muscle tissue burns more calories than fat tissue, even when you're at rest. When you're inactive, you lose muscle mass, which further slows down your metabolism. It's a vicious cycle. You're not moving, so you lose muscle, which makes your metabolism slower, which makes it even harder to stay active. Musculoskeletal problems. Let's talk about your muscles and bones. When you sit all day, your musculoskeletal system takes a serious beating. It's like your body's way of telling you, "Hey, remember when we used to move? Yeah, that was better." First, there's muscle atrophy. When you don't use your muscles, they shrink. Your glutes, for example, become what we lovingly call dead butt syndrome. Sounds fun, right? Not using your muscles means they get weaker and less efficient, making it harder to do everyday activities. Then there's the issue of posture. Sitting for long periods, especially with poor posture, can lead to chronic back and neck pain. Your spine gets out of alignment, and your muscles have to work overtime to keep you upright. This can lead to conditions like herniated discs and sciatica. For the ladies, sedentary behavior can be particularly nasty. Women are more prone to osteoporosis, a condition where bones become weak and brittle. When you're inactive, your bones don't get the stimulation they need to stay strong. Weight-bearing activities like walking or lifting help maintain bone density. Without them, bones lose mass, increasing the risk of fractures. Men aren't off the hook either. Prolonged sitting can lead to tight hip flexors and hamstrings, which can cause lower back pain. And let's not forget about joint stiffness. Inactivity can cause your joints to become stiff and less flexible, making it harder to move around comfortably. Mental health effects. Let's take a trip upstairs and talk about your brain. Believe it or not, sitting around all day isn't just bad for your body. It's a real buzzkill for your mind too. First off, there's the obvious stuff like feeling sluggish and unmotivated. When you're inactive, your brain gets less oxygen and fewer nutrients, leading to lower energy levels and reduced cognitive function. Studies have shown that sedentary behavior is linked to higher rates of depression and anxiety. Physical activity triggers the release of endorphins, those magical little chemicals that make you feel good. Without them, your mood can take a nosedive. It's like your body's natural antidepressants go on strike. Then there's the impact on stress levels. Regular physical activity helps manage stress by reducing levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. When you're inactive, cortisol levels can stay elevated, keeping you in a constant state of mild stress. This can mess with your sleep, your immune system, and your overall well-being. The mental health effects of a sedentary lifestyle can also differ between men and women. Men might be more prone to issues like irritability and aggression when they're not getting enough physical activity. Women, on the other hand, might experience more anxiety and mood swings due to hormonal fluctuations exacerbated by inactivity. Lack of physical activity has been linked to an increased risk of dementia and other cognitive impairments as you age. Keeping your body active helps maintain healthy blood flow to your brain, which is crucial for keeping those neurons firing. Weight gain and obesity. Time to talk about everyone's favorite topic: weight. Spoiler alert, sitting around all day is a one-way ticket to gaining extra pounds. When you're sedentary, you burn fewer calories. It's simple math. The less you move, the fewer calories you expend. Combine that with mindless snacking while binge-watching TV, and you've got a recipe for weight gain. Even if you're eating the same amount as before, your reduced activity level means more calories are stored as fat. But it's not just about the calories. Being inactive can mess with your body's hunger signals. Physical activity helps regulate hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which control your hunger and satiety. When you're not moving, these hormones can get out of whack, making you feel hungrier than you actually are. This can lead to overeating, even when your body doesn't need the extra fuel. For men, weight gain often manifests as belly fat. This type of fat is particularly dangerous because it surrounds vital organs and is linked to increased risks of heart disease, diabetes, and other metabolic disorders. Women, on the other hand, might notice more fat accumulation around their hips and thighs. While it's less dangerous than belly fat, it still contributes to overall weight gain and associated health risks. When you're inactive, you lose muscle mass, which further slows down your metabolism. Muscle burns more calories than fat, even at rest. So the less muscle you have, the fewer calories you burn, making it easier to gain weight. Your genetic makeup can influence how your body stores fat and responds to inactivity. Some people might be more predisposed to gaining weight when they're sedentary, while others might not see as much of a difference. But don't think you can blame it all on your genes. Lifestyle choices play a huge role. Cancer risks. Time to get serious for a moment and talk about the big C, cancer. Sitting around all day doesn't just mess with your muscles, heart, and mood. It can also increase your risk of developing certain types of cancer. Research has shown that a sedentary lifestyle is linked to a higher risk of several cancers, including colon, breast, and endometrial cancer. When you're inactive, your body undergoes a variety of changes that can make it more susceptible to cancerous growths. For colon cancer, the connection is pretty straightforward. Physical activity helps to speed up digestion and reduce the amount of time harmful substances spend in your colon. When you're sedentary, digestion slows down, giving those harmful substances more time to interact with the cells lining your colon, increasing the risk of cancer. Breast cancer risk is also heightened by inactivity. One reason is that regular physical activity helps regulate hormones like estrogen and insulin. High levels of these hormones have been linked to an increased risk of breast cancer. When you're not active, your body's ability to regulate these hormones diminishes, creating an environment where cancer cells can thrive. Endometrial cancer, which affects the lining of the uterus, follows a similar pattern. Inactivity leads to higher levels of insulin and other growth factors that can promote the development of cancer cells. Regular exercise helps keep these levels in check, reducing the risk. The impact of a sedentary lifestyle on cancer risk also varies between men and women. For example, while both genders are at risk for colon cancer, women have the added risk of breast and endometrial cancers, influenced by hormonal changes and metabolic differences. Men, meanwhile, might see a higher risk of prostate cancer linked to obesity and inactivity. Inflammation is another key player here. Chronic inflammation, which can be exacerbated by a sedentary lifestyle, is a known risk factor for cancer. When you're inactive, your body's inflammatory responses can go haywire, creating a perfect breeding ground for cancerous cells. The takeaway is clear. Staying active isn't just about looking good or feeling great. It's also a crucial part of reducing your cancer risk. By incorporating regular physical activity into your life, you're helping to keep your body's systems in balance and protecting yourself against one of the most serious health threats out there: sedentary behavior in different environments. Let's take a look at how our surroundings play a role in turning us into couch potatoes. It's not just about laziness, it's about how our environments encourage us to sit still. From work to home to our leisure activities, each place has its own sneaky ways of keeping us inactive. Starting with the workplace, many jobs today involve sitting at a desk for 8 hours or more. Office setups with computers, phones, and all the necessary tools within arm's reach mean you barely have to move. Add in long commutes spent sitting in a car or on public transportation, and you're looking at a major chunk of your day spent sedentary. At home, the situation isn't much better. Our living spaces are designed for comfort and convenience. We've got couches, TVs, and smart devices that deliver entertainment right to our laps. Need groceries? There's an app for that. Want to socialize? Just hop on social media. It's easier than ever to spend hours on end without moving much. Leisure time is another big culprit. Video games, streaming services, and social media all vie for our attention, encouraging us to stay put. Even activities that once required movement, like shopping or even dating, can now be done from the comfort of your home. Swipe left if you think that's a problem. Counteracting sedentariness. First, let's talk about practical tips for breaking up long periods of sitting. One simple strategy is to follow the 30-30 rule. Every 30 minutes, get up and move around for at least 30 seconds. This can be as easy as standing up to stretch, walking to get a glass of water, or even doing a quick set of jumping jacks. It might sound trivial, but these small bursts of activity can make a huge difference. If you work at a desk job, consider investing in a standing desk. Standing while you work can help reduce the negative effects of prolonged sitting. If a standing desk isn't an option, try to stand up during phone calls or walk over to talk to a colleague instead of sending an email. Incorporate more walking into your day by parking farther from your destination or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. If you take public transport, get off one stop early and walk the rest of the way. These little changes add up and help keep your body moving. For those who enjoy their TV time, make it more active. Try exercising during commercial breaks or even doing a quick workout while watching your favorite show. There are plenty of apps and online videos that offer short, easy-to-follow exercise routines that you can do without leaving your living room. Engaging in active hobbies like hiking, biking, or dancing can be a fun way to incorporate more movement into your life. Even gardening or playing with your kids or pets counts. The key is to find activities you enjoy so that moving around doesn't feel like a chore. Gender-specific strategies can also help. Men might find it helpful to set fitness goals related to strength training or competitive sports, while women might enjoy group fitness classes or activities like yoga and Pilates. Tailoring your approach to what motivates you can make staying active more appealing. For those of us glued to our screens, try using technology to your advantage. Fitness trackers and apps can remind you to move, track your activity, and even offer guided workouts. Virtual workout classes can also provide the social aspect of exercise, even if you're working out from home. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of social support. Exercise with friends or family members to stay motivated. Join a sports team, a hiking club, or even a dance class. Being part of a community can make physical activity more enjoyable and less of a solitary task. Incorporating regular movement into your life doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with small changes and build from there. The goal is to create a balanced lifestyle where physical activity is a natural part of your daily routine. Your body will thank you for it, and you'll feel better too.